sister. Why would you do that?
You've taken your sister's arm off. Why would you do that to her? I hope you and your family are happy, 'cause I, for one, am not.
No. Corvin, stop!
Don't worry. We're safe now. You're safe now. Just relax for me. What am I doing? Isn't it obvious, little bird? I'm making you a new arm. That's it. Just breathe. It might be crimson magic, but not everything about it is evil or dark. It just likes to sometimes bend the rules of reality. There. How does it feel? Good? Excellent. We'll keep an eye on it, just to be sure it's all right. Sometimes tiny tissues or joints don't always completely form on the first try. Are there limitations to my magic? Well, I suppose there's no point in hiding since you know I possess it. Yes, there are limitations to my magic. As for what kind of limitations depend on what area of magic you're referring to. Such as healing, for example. Regenerating limbs is easy for me after the centuries of practice. But if the wound were to be more critical, say being cut by a silver blade, then it would require more time and energy. The only time my magic's true potential comes is when the crimson moon is at its highest peak. Only then do the unspeakable capabilities of my magic can be released and harnessed. But since it's still daytime outside, you could say it's when my magic is at its weakest. But don't assume it's not powerful during the day. What did I mean earlier about Ironheart and Nightvale? I believe that's best explained in the Grand Library. Come with me. Here we are. Centuries upon centuries of knowledge from Nightvale and many other families and regions. And if you look hard enough, maybe you could find something from Ironheart. But to answer your question, we have to go to our family's beginning roots. Where is it? There's so much stuff here you can't find anything. While we're searching, I'll tell you what I do know. Your brother was right on a few things. Nightvale does carry a very dark reputation over these lands. My great-grandparents wanted an empire, in a way, to rule and pass down to their descendants by any means necessary, hence our dark reputation. But not everything Nightvale did was out of cruelty and violence. There have been times when growth in power was done peacefully. Sometimes it was done through agreements and maybe a non-gruesome duel or two. Other times it was done through treaties. One family exchanged one thing for the other's benefit and vice versa, thus creating the empire you see today of Nightvale. Here we are, at last. This book dates back 3,000 years ago. So, very likely our greatest grandparents. Let's have a look, shall we? As you look over the ancient pages, the truth was laid bare. The rivalry between Night Vale and Ironheart went further than you ever thought, or have been told your entire life. The book told you about gruesome duels between the two families and many dark secrets each family kept between one another. But a realization hits you. Within the ancient text, they explain that when Night Vale and Ironheart first met, they were allies. In fact, House Ironheart helped Night Vale grow its power. But as Night Vale grew in power, Ironheart grew jealous and wanted to rule parts of their own, and with their own methodical methods of conquering, Ironheart did something that started this rivalry. But the pages that had that information were ripped out. Clearly, whatever Ironheart did to start this rivalry, they didn't want anyone or anything to know about it. Now do you understand why your family so desperately wants me dead? So, you're just as curious as I am as to what Ironheart did to Night Vale. Seems as though we're not so different after all. We both want the truth out of Ironheart. As the last descendant of Night Vale, Ironheart is doing everything they can to have me destroyed, which is why they sent you in the first place. But you couldn't do it. I'll save you from explaining, seeing how a lot has already happened in such a short amount of time. But I am curious about what method you were instructed to use on me. Why do I ask? Well, for starters, we're kinda both in this together. You have essentially defied your own family at this point, and they'll likely be coming after you too, now that you know the truth, or at least part of it. And secondly, I'm genuinely curious to hear what method Ironheart insisted you use against me. So that's it. Ironheart has not changed. What do I mean? Surely one would believe that the last remaining target of Ironheart was still alive after all these years. You'd think I'd just got lucky. Oh, no. I've had my fair share of encounters with your family members. Some decently strong, others not so much. Ironheart assumes that a vampire of my age and in this era would assume Ironheart would resort to more modern methods of destruction, so they use older methods. But little do they know I've done my fair share of studying of ancient methods of warfare. All right, all right. Please slow down on your questions, little bird. You've already been through a lot, and I don't want you to overwork yourself, especially during the day. Speaking of, we should probably get some rest till night. I can already imagine Ironheart will be on the hunt for us when their power is stronger. So we might as well get what rest we can. So can you hold your questions till then? Or do I have to put a sleep spell on you myself? That's a good girl. Since this isn't your first time here in my castle, I don't believe I have to remind you where the guest room is, do I? Nah, I didn't think so. I'll leave the book here in the library for you when night comes. I can't have you up all day searching for answers when we both have targets on our heads from Ironheart. But it will be here when you arise. So sleep well, little bird. I look forward to seeing you tonight.